Hi guys, so it's been a really rainy old day. It's coming on for the evening now, so I thought I would try a recipe that I haven't tried before. Had a couple of carrots, they've gone a bit sort of squidgy and soft because I hadn't used them. And so I was going to try making an Indian dessert called Gajar ka Halwa. I think that's it, Gajar ka Halwa, or carrot halwa. And yeah, so that's what I'm doing. So yeah, it seems to be a super simple recipe. I've just grated 2 carrots on the thinnest grater setting. And then I'm going to heat up this little non-stick pan, and I'm supposed to do that with 1 tablespoon of ghee. But I've realised I've only got about 1.5 tablespoons left. So I hope we're going to get through this, but let's give it a go. I wanted to do a really nice time lapse of the butter melting, but my pan is on a slight angle, so it just keeps sort of, sliding out of view. So anyway, when that's melted, we add our carrot to the pot. There we go, try and get it in the pot. And then we need to keep stirring it so that it doesn't burn. I'm going to be at this for about 8 to 10 minutes, I think. So it says in the recipe to keep doing this until the carrots change colour. And they are definitely starting to change colour. I'm not sure that you can really see it on the camera, but with the eye, they are starting to look a little bit lighter. Like you can see some lighter patches appearing. They're still very orange, but they are definitely looking a little bit toasted, a little bit yellower. Okay, so now we're supposed to pour in some milk. Ooh. It seems like it's a bit hot. We'll turn that heat down a little. We're going to leave that until all of the milk is absorbed. I think we need to keep stirring. So it doesn't stick, but keep going until all of the milk is absorbed. I think that's starting to look about the right consistency. Alright, so now we're supposed to add the rest of the ghee, and that's supposed to melt down with it. And also now we add the spices, and for this one it just says cardamom. Now cardamom and milk, if you've watched my video on Indian snacks in Kigali, cardamom and milk is one of my favourite flavour combinations ever. So I'm quite happy to put a bit in. And also I kind of feel like it does need quite a bit because, you know, carrots don't really have a massive flavour, so I think season it liberally. Okay, so just going to add in a bit of cardamom. This is my favourite spice. It's just ahead of black pepper, because black pepper you've got to have with eggs. I can't have eggs without black pepper. But cardamom comes out just ahead because you can make desserts like this with it. So there we go. I think you can put nuts and things in here, but I don't really have anything else to put in. So we'll give it a go. See what it tastes like. Oh no, I'm a complete idiot. It said that you should put the sugar in before the ghee. And of course it is a dessert, so it does need some sugar. But as the recipe says, the carrots are quite sweet anyway, so you don't need a lot of sugar. But you should have put the sugar in and then the ghee. And then keep going until any liquid created by the sugar is absorbed. So basically what we're doing is we're caramelizing the carrot. Caramelizing the carrot with ghee, which is butter, cardamom and milk and sugar. So a very, very simple recipe. Okay guys, forgive my presentation. It's not beautiful, but it is finished. It's got quite a nice caramel smell to it. Okay, so let's see whether or not that was worth it. I mean, it literally just took a few minutes. It smells good. It doesn't smell of very much. It smells of ghee more than anything. A little bit buttery. I do know what this is supposed to taste like. If you want to try the genuine article, I think Khazana sometimes has it on their dessert menu. But let's try my carrot halwa. I think you've got to be a bit careful because it's got sugar in it and sugar gets really hot on the fire. So need to just check I'm not going to burn myself. Mmm. Mmm. Okay, that's actually not bad. Ow, hot. Definitely not bad. I feel like Khazana makes it a bit better. I don't know if I let it caramelise long enough. I'm usually a little bit impatient in the kitchen. If you saw my video about French onion soup, that was always the problem, is I'd never leave the onions long enough to caramelise. I feel like if this had a little bit longer to caramelise, it would be really good. Maybe a little bit more ghee and a little bit more cardamom. So do this, but if you do this, do everything extra. Put more of everything in there. Give it a bit longer. But it's nice. It's crunchy, but it's crunchy but smooth and a little bit sweet without being too sweet. So yeah, I quite like this. I'm going to finish it. Hi guys, it's the evening of another day and I thought I would give this one more run, but I thought I'd switch around some of the ingredients. So here's what I'm going to do. So I've run out of ghee, so I'm just going to use normal butter. I'm pretty sure it has a lower smoke point than ghee, so you need to keep an eye on it. You need to keep stirring, add a bit extra if it dries up. Now I'm doing a half and half, so I'm doing a half and half of milk as we used before. But I'm also going to do some coconut milk, partly because I need to use it up and partly because I think it'll go really, really well with carrot. Ooh, that's a little bit high. And the last thing that I'm switching out is, the first time around I just used standard brown sugar. And this time I'm switching it out for jaggery, which is a form of kind of unrefined, unadulterated Indian sugar. And I found this at Patel's in Kimihurura, and it's absolutely adorable. It's tiny, tiny little cubes of jaggery, because usually you buy it and it looks like this, but it's a giant block of it in that shape, but about at least 10 times bigger. So they've made mini jaggery, which are just the perfect size for a single serving. And it's really reasonably priced. It's only 3,500 for that. So I'm going to try that because I think it will create a nice dark sweetness. So I grated the jaggery on this part of the grater. I'm not sure what that's usually used for. I feel like it might be nutmeg or something, fresh nutmeg. And I'm going to put one whole cube in. And I'm also going to add a tiny bit more butter, just a last little dollop. There we go. Cannot go wrong with butter and sugar. And I'm just going to melt that down together. As you can see, I've definitely cooked it a bit longer than I did the first time, and it's turned into more of this kind of gloop. So I'm very interested to see what it tastes like. I'm going to let it really cool down though, because hot sugar can be quite dangerous. That looks like it's about right. All right, I realised that I forgot to put the cardamom in, so I added a little bit at the very end and gave it a swirl around, but should have really put the cardamom in with the milk. Let's try this one. Oh, it's steaming. It's nice. Smells good. Smells, yeah, it doesn't really smell of a lot. It's like the first time around. Okay. Definitely not very sweet. I think that the coconut milk was a really good idea, but I think ghee would be a better idea than just butter. because I think butter and carrots makes me think of like a Sunday roast in the UK. It makes it taste more vegetable-y and less dessert. So I think ghee is probably better than the butter. Coconut milk's a good idea, and the jaggery is a lot less sweet than the brown sugar. So if you like a sweeter dessert, go for the normal sugar. And a less sweet dessert, go for the jaggery. I like the texture more in this because I left it longer to cook. I think that's a good idea. And I think that the coconut milk makes it feel thicker than just normal milk. So if I was going to do the whole thing again, I'd probably use the ghee, the milk and the coconut milk. I might go with just normal sugar. I think it would make it just a little bit sweeter. And I cook it for a bit longer than I did the first time. So yeah, it's a nice dessert. It's got carrots in it, but I don't think it's that healthy because of the amount of sugar, but it's definitely healthier than something that doesn't have vegetables in. So it's a good way to use up old carrots. So I'll probably do it again.